Hello there. Shaken Booktube, my name's Cam, welcome back to another video. I hope you can forgive the casual nature of this video. I'm not trying to seduce you, today at least. I was just kind of looking through the videos I've done in the last couple of months or so, and I don't know what it was, but I just decided I just want to get comfortable, which is why I'm just laying on my bed at the moment. I just want to get comfortable and just kind of talk about books without all the, underlying comedic plot and all that, which I love doing, by the way. It's still going to be the niche of my channel, but I just wanted to just chill for a video. So yeah, today I'm just kicking back, just talking about books. I wanted to talk to you about how I felt about the book Illuminae, because I read that a little while ago now, but I haven't really spoken about it so much. Then I wanted to tell you about what I'm actually going to be reading going forward, what I'm planning on reading. I guess it's a TBR. And then I also want to talk about how I felt about Ready Player One, the book versus the movie, because that movie came out, and I don't know, I have some thoughts. Paint me like one of your booktube boys. So yeah, I read Illuminae. I read Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, the guy who looks like Dave Grohl. I mainly read it, and I got the audiobook as well, which is alright, but I mainly read it because of all the hype. It's one of those books that I picked up almost entirely for the hype, because I'm not a big fan of books that are done in the format of like transcripts or actual scripts or letters. You know how Perks of Being a Wallflower, that's the one. You know how Perks of Being a Wallflower, the book was actually just letters? I just didn't like it. It just felt weird to me. So the idea of reading a big book like this, almost made up entirely of transcripts and data logs and all that kind of stuff, I wasn't that excited. But I read it, and that actually didn't bother me at all. I actually enjoyed that, especially in the book, because it's hard to show you from here, but it becomes more of just a reading experience and becomes a visual experience as well. I don't mean visual as in like reading the words, I mean visual as in like, it was visual on an immersive level. Like it felt like you were actually kind of reading classified files that someone had left laying around. So that was cool. But the book itself, the story, I was completely meh about it. The first half, maybe even 3/4 of the book, I wasn't really enjoying it at all. I felt kind of bored, to be honest. Because I'm sure even the people that love that book can agree that the first half, nothing significant really happens. So it's them fleeing from another battleship on a spaceship, obviously. And it's kind of just conversations and all this build up towards what could happen going forward when the battleships finally collide, which doesn't happen till like near the end of the book. But there's just a lot of foundation building, which is normally good, but I just think they might have overdone it a little bit. There were so many unnecessary and just useless interactions between characters, especially the two main characters, that you could have cut from the story and it would have made no difference. And these conversations built up and built up to the point where you're just wasting a lot of time reading useless dialogue, really. But for where the first half of the book was a bit of a letdown, the second half was amazing. It was incredible. It was really good. Turned into kind of a horror, zombie-ish survival thing. It's hard to describe, but I really enjoyed the second half when you were dealing with the elements of the rogue AI, with the infection that was turning people into those crazy bloodlust. They're not really zombies, are they? Because they were still intelligible to a certain point, but rage-filled humans with an extreme level of bloodlust. That was interesting. I liked that. And there was a very real element of intensity and suspense as to whether the two main characters would reunite or not. And I did kind of like twist that I won't mention towards the end, when you find out conversations that had been being had hadn't really been being had the way they were. That's very cryptic, sorry, but I don't want to spoil anything, but I liked that. First half, meh. Second half, good. As for what I'm reading, I am going to be following on with the Felix and, well, I guess it's just the Felix series. The first one was called Once, the second one was called Then, and the third one is called Now, and then there's 2 more after that. But basically it's based around a really young boy in Nazi-occupied Poland, and I think it might be kind of moving beyond the boundaries of Poland now, but it's about him surviving through that and the turmoils as well. It's fiction, but there are a lot of real historical themes in there as well, which in the first book was really kind of hard to get through, even though they're really small books, which I'm thankful for, because of the intense nature of the story. But the first one was just intense and heartbreaking to read about real things that people had to go through back then. The second one kind of just felt like the start to a story that had been dragged out, and nothing significant happened in that story except for like the last couple of pages. I realize there's only a certain level of entertainment you can get from a book about the Nazis and a boy surviving through that period of history, but I still expect some kind of entertaining story structure. And the second book didn't really have that. But it's a good series nonetheless, so I will be continuing on, and I'm interested to see where Felix goes from here, because again, no spoilers, but at the end of the second book, it's kind of just out, it's in a who knows what's going to happen situation, really. Not so much a cliffhanger, but it's hard to imagine where he's going to go from there. Then I'm also going to be reading The Leftovers by Tom Perrotta. This book is basically about one day everyone in this town wakes up and I think like half of them are just missing. So maybe this is based in like post-Thanos snapping his fingers. It's based in the aftermath of people just vanishing from this town, and it's based around the mayor and him trying to help the town to get through this traumatic event. And I don't think it's based so much around the supernatural elements of people just going missing. I think it's more on the emotional aspects of, you know, grief and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's so much I think it's more like the emotional reactions of people to events like that, and how certain people try to help others get through those situations and the impact it has on them, and I don't know, just all that kind of stuff. And I do enjoy those kind of sci-fi mind-fuckery books, and I feel like this might be on the cusp of that, maybe a bit more emotional based, but it's a genre I'm into nonetheless. So yeah, that's what I plan on reading. Last but not least, I just want to give my quick thoughts on the Ready Player One movie adaptation of the book. I'll just say right out of the gate, I loved it. It was different in a lot of ways to the book, obviously, because, you know, as they always are, and that's not something I'm against. I'm not one of those people who are like, it has to be exactly like the book. I'm open to changes as long as it stays true to the book. And I think it did. It did remain pretty damn close to the book, actually. Like, for example, just with, like, the stacks on the cover here, the stacks where he lives, which is just trailers piled on top of each other, it did exactly that. There were certain things they had to change that I appreciated and I understood. That, like, one of the main things that people are talking about is the fact that the movie kind of starts with the big race, and that leads to the first key. And I think, I saw the movie a while ago, but I think everyone knows that that is the challenge for the first key. And that was very different from the books. Very different from the book, because no one had any idea where the first key was. He actually found the key in a kind of forest cave thing, if I remember right. Either way, they had to change things, obviously, so that it would translate well to the screen. I should probably mention, for anyone who doesn't know about Ready Player One, it's about a virtual reality world where everyone goes in to escape the poverty that's happening in real life. They escape into the virtual reality world to get some ounce of happiness. And the person who created it died and left behind some virtual keys, and whoever finds them all and completes the challenges gets his vast wealth and the controlling stakes of the virtual reality world. So the main guy finds the first key, and so yeah, one of the challenges is that you're put into a movie from the 80s. I can't remember what movie it is, but you have to act out the role that you're put in that movie verbatim. Every line you have to get correct, and at the end you unlock the key. Obviously that wouldn't translate well into an actual movie. We wouldn't go to the cinemas to watch a movie about someone being put in a movie to reenact the movie. So they changed that challenge, obviously. And there was just a whole lot of small nuances like that they had to change to make it more visually appropriate. And I appreciate that. I thought that was good. It did feel like there was still something lacking from that movie. I can't quite put my finger on what it was, but I walked away from it not feeling that happy with it. But by all means, the characters were great, and the story was good. The final climax of the film, I freaking loved. The amount of references in that movie is what you'll go there for, because there are so many Easter eggs. It's ridiculous. Steven Spielberg is the only one who could have directed that, because he was like the 80s director. He was the only one in touch with what this movie needed to be, and I don't know, I think it did a good job. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I think I might have a nap, actually. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know if you've read any of the books here. Just, yeah. I have nothing left to say, so catch ya.